Hare Krishna, dear viewers.
Hare Krishna.
Again back at our session with Ramachandra Prabhu, who was traveling throughout the Israel, and he was experiencing so many situations. So we're gonna more develop this discussion deeper. So I would like to ask you, Prabhuji, actually, how are you maintaining yourself during this trip? Let's say let's stick with your shelter. Let's say how did you take some shelter?
Yes, so it was indeed it was a question, a dilemma before I started the journey how I would do it, because there is no like in most of the parts of the world there is no Prabhupada centered oriented temple in Israel. There's no Bliss temple, not yet at least, and yeah, it's a problem. Prabhupada originally he would intend the traveling already when there would be centers. So what would happen? In that case, a sannyasi he would just travel from center to center. So that traveling was not too much encouraged like that. But in the same time, Prabhupada would send devotees just like he sent to London, the 6 couples, and he would send devotees to all parts of the world to start a temple and deliver them by giving them the association of the pure devotee, His Divine Grace, they see Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So yeah, I was thinking how to do it actually, and I was utilizing basically my previous connections and this website which is called Couchsurfing, and I still have a profile there that I used back in my Karmi days, and I would basically will just present myself as a Hare Krishna monk, as a preacher, just openly. I would explain I wake up early, I meditate, I don't take anything except what I offer to God, like that, and be very blunt about it, you know. And I would send many requests to different people who would be already interested in some sort of meditation or yoga or even vegetarianism, veganism, like that. And yeah, with 2 persons actually I managed to meet through that website. And in the same time they would offer me a place to stay for 2-3 nights.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime I would use it as a platform to preach and invite some people. And like the first person actually who hosted me, Mr. Jan from Dusseldorf, Dresden. He's from Dresden, from Germany, but he's been living in Jerusalem for the last 10 years. And he invited me to stay, and simultaneously with me there was another couple. There was a family with a little boy from London. So I would preach to them, and I will explain about our principles of morality and like that, and what is the Krishna conscious philosophy is all about, because already, like many people from London, are already familiar with the Hare Krishna movement. And the rest of the time I would just sit in the center of Jerusalem, like you can see in the videos, and I would chant from 3 to 4 to even 5 hours every day, and that will be the most of the preaching will be done like that on the street. And yeah, the host, they'll be very nice, and they'll be just inquisitive, you know, more or less. The preaching there will not be, you know, of course, you know, Krishna consciousness is in everyone's heart and everyone is affected one way or another, but that would be more like a platform of just a friendly, equal talk, you know, of peers, and yeah, to show our practical principles. Like they would actually see that I would rise up early in the morning, take a shower, and be very clean. I'll clean their house and, you know, cook and offer to Krishna, and They would honor the prasadam too. They would be very respectful, And I would stay there, two nights. I stayed with the first person, with Jan. I think I stayed even more, three nights. He was a very nice host, and he invited me to stay for another night. So, I asked him if he doesn't mind if I stay for another night. And that was very very productive, because I would get to meet actually the local people, and I'll be able to preach in the city, for a few days, to do some chanting and kirtan, and get to know the local community, because I could have rented a hostel or a hotel, but it's very impersonal. So this platform still works like that.
Okay, so Prabhuji, have you even cooked something at their place?
Oh yeah, we made just like a la feast. So, I would come, and with the first host, I stayed in the desert with Mr. Igal in Tamar, or it's a moshav which is very close to the Dead Sea. And immediately when I would come, he would offer me his cooking facilities, and please, would you like to cook? And and I cooked. He invited some friends, and we had just like a la feast program, chanting kirtan. I read them something from the Bhagavad Gita, and a feast. Of course, it was more like a neutral ground, basic philosophy, and very light preaching, but at the same time, it was very, very inspiring, to see how people they're not afraid to embrace something new, something different, and like that. And the other time when I would not make, of course, to make a feast every day, that would be a bit impractical, but the rest of the time, what I would do, I would just get some ingredients that they don't involve cooking. Like in Jerusalem, for example, I'll be sitting and chanting for like 6 hours, so of course you need some prasadam for that. And what I would do, I would just go to the local market, and there are lots of fresh, nice fruits, dates. I will get fresh dates and ripe figs. It's very, very nice boga. And I'll get some, what would that be? Some tahini, the raw tahini, and I'll mix it with water, and I would offer it a picture of Srila Prabhupada and Panchatattva right there in Ben Yehuda or Yaffa Street, somewhere convenient, and I would honor, and many times I would actually distribute the prasadam there, because people, if you have the experience, if your temple schedule here, you sometimes take prasadam there on the spot, or you just take prasadam at the temple usually.
Actually, I have never experienced taking prasadam outside on the temple, so all the time. But of course, sometimes you need to adjust the situation, so there is a need to kind of like, not broke the rules, but to assimilate to the situation.
But you never took a takeaway from the temple and you sit down before the Harinam, or
No, never.
Yeah, we were doing that in Montreal. I think that was this winter. Yeah, we would usually when there would be like the marathon or long book distribution, because you have to be in the street for many hours. So we would pack, some rice, dal, chapati, and we would take a break outside, and we would sit and take prasadam, all the devotees. So because it's on the street, it's public, many times people, they come and they feel very inclined to ask questions just when we take prasadam. And of course our everyone's natural instinct is when something is good and you like it, and when especially when Krishna likes it, you want to distribute. So too, I would distribute, some dates. They would ask me, where is the temple? I want some prasadam, So I would take some dates from the offering, give them a nice, juicy date, from Krishna's plate there. So, like that.
And also, let's say, if you cooked something special Indian, so what was the response from the feedback from the hosts?
Yeah, well, most of the hosts, like the first host that hosted me, he'd been to India like 6 times, so he felt very enlivened, In Israel, it's quite common, after the army, most of the people, they go to India for like at least half a year, so the reaction too, usually on the street when people saw me dressed in a seemingly Indian dress, of course it's not Indian culture or Hindu or this or that, it's spiritual culture, but still it resonated with some, Eastern culture, tradition. So many of them, they were not surprised at all. Actually, one lady in Tel Aviv, she saw me and she heard me chanting, and she started, I think she was even crying. She was crying and clapping that, it reminds her of Bombay, because she's from Bombay. So somehow or other, Krishna, penetrated their hearts already. So I felt like I'm just reminding them, something nice. And many of them, they felt very, very inspired. How I was maintaining actually this, like the prasadam, my staying there, all the different, because you need somehow to, I didn't have a car, right? So I would go from place to place by public transportation, which is pretty expensive in Israel. So I would just do the Harinam 6 hours a day, and Krishna would maintain me, Practically speaking, I would collect around 200 shekels in a day, which is equivalent to 50 euros, 60, 70 dollars, something like that. And almost. And that was our host Makanchor Prabhu, the local temple president. Maybe later on he's gonna come and say hi more formally. So 50 euros a day, that's plenty for prasadam, transportation, I think. Right? How much you spend here for like a day? Prasadam, transportation.
Let's say if you buy now some basics, some vegetables.
For a person, like how much
one person
you would spend? Like take a bus to Nitra, I think that's the local town that we go to Harinam here.
So bus fee is 1.10 euro per one person, but only one way. So 220 to come back to the synagogue. Also, just yes. Actually, and if you count to this, some more for Boga, then like 4 euros, let's say 3-4 euros per one day for one person. So it's quite a lot actually. Now we are here, 5 of us.
Yes.
5 Pandavas.
Yes.
So it's kind of a lot. And actually collected it in one day, 50 euros. So it's kind of like.
Krishna supplies. Prabhupada. Actually, I spoke with a disciple from the early days a few years ago, and he explained that there was no such thing actually as planning. Of course, someone would be in charge of the treasury like that, but ultimately the plan was we just do Harinam the whole day. So they would do between 12 to 14 hours of Harinam. In the early days in Los Angeles and Seattle. And Krishna would supply everything, even more. You would bring people and you would be able to feed them, like that. So, Thank you so much for
Thank you
inviting me again and having this nice discussion.
Actually, thank you for your sharing your experience and valuable informations you collected and experienced on your trip. So thank you, dear viewers, for watching this video from Blizvinodon. So please leave some comments, give some ideas, text a message, personal message to Ramachandra Prabhu especially. You can inquire some more specific questions about his trip. So we're gonna have next session
on this topic of Prabhupada, Israel and Krishna.
Oh yeah, sure.
Jai Shri Krishna Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.